Hey guys, this is Trilantis from TheBootsTree, and today I am here with a jungle guide. As you may know, I am the jungler for TheBootsTree, and today I'll be running Cho'Gath in the jungle. This particular recording was taken from a practice match we did in draft pick. We did a practice match because we were missing our mid laner, Graynid, because he was in a night class. Our top laner, Scratch 151, is playing Katarina mid, because the random 5th we picked up wanted to play Riven in the top lane. I wanted to do a jungle guide for Cho'Gath because I believe he is a fantastic jungler and he's very underrated in the jungle. I was searching on YouTube for videos about Cho'Gath in the jungle as far as a guide is concerned, and there really aren't any. There are 3 reasons to jungle Cho'Gath. The first being the need for an AP jungler. If your top laner is playing an AD bruiser and you're playing an AD jungler, and your bot lane AD carry is of course AD, your team is very attack damage heavy. This means that the enemy team can build armor and easily counter you. The second reason to jungle Cho'Gath is the need for a tank. While most top laners are very tanky, it's not always the case, and Cho'Gath excels at being a tank due to his ultimate and his base armor and magic resist levels. The third reason to jungle Cho'Gath is the sheer potential of crowd control, or CC, and this brings me to his abilities. Cho'Gath's passive is called Carnivore. Each time he kills an enemy unit, he is returned some health and mana. While these may be low levels, they really help when he's clearing the jungle, mowing down minion waves, and even killing enemy champions in a pinch. Cho'Gath's Q is called Rupture. It's an AoE knockup that both slows and damages the enemy unit. This ability can be used in a variety of ways. When ganking from the brush, you can land a Rupture, allowing you and your ally to easily jump on the enemy, doing tons of damage. This can also be used while chasing or running away, by knocking up the enemy unit or units, allowing you to catch up or get away to safety. Cho'Gath's W is called Feral Scream. Cho'Gath emits a scream and a cone in front of him that silences all enemy units from 2 to 3 seconds, depending on how many points are in the ability. This is a great ability for ganking because when you silence an opponent, it prevents them from using any escape abilities, allowing you to net an easier kill. Cho'Gath's E is called Vorpal Spikes. It's a toggle, which means you can turn it on or off with no cooldown. Whenever Cho'Gath performs a basic attack, he will launch spikes damaging enemies in a line in front of him. This is important because it means you can clear jungle camps and minion waves much quicker, and it also increases the damage output on your auto attacks. Finally, Cho'Gath's ultimate. It is the ability he's most known for, and it's called Feast. Cho'Gath takes a bite out of an enemy unit. If it's a minion, it deals 1000 damage, and if it's an enemy champion, it deals 300, 475, or 650 true damage. All of the damage on this ability is true damage, which means it negates all resistances. If Feast kills the target, Cho'Gath grows larger and gains extra health and basic attack range, stacking up to 6 times. Cho'Gath loses half of these stacks on death. Feast is an important part of Cho'Gath's natural tankiness. Cho'Gath can get a ton of health for no gold cost just by feasting minions. Keep your Feast off cooldown for teamfights, however, because it is a massive damage dealer and you'll want it to secure kills in a teamfight. For runes on jungle Cho'Gath, I take attack speed reds, flat armor yellows, magic resist per level blues, and move speed quints. Attack speed reds are necessary to keep Vorpal Spikes doing the most damage as possible in the early game, clearing jungle creeps faster, and also proccing your passive more often, keeping you healed up and have more mana. Flat armor yellows and magic resist per level blues are important to keep Cho'Gath tanky, allowing you to build more damage items if need be over tank items. Move speed quints are also important. While arguably unnecessary, I like them because you can clear the jungle faster, your ganks are more effective, and you can also catch up to or run away from people who would ordinarily be the same speed as you. For Masteries, I go with a 0-21-9 Mastery page. In the defensive tree, I take all the health, resistances, tenacity, and reduced tower damage, and in the utility tree, I take mana regen, move speed, and neutral buff duration. These are important because they help maintain your tankiness once again as Cho'Gath in the jungle, but also the mana regen and the movement speed are going to help you clear even faster, and the neutral buff duration is also a must-have on a jungler. Now onto the build. I start Hunter's Machete and 5 health potions on every jungler. I think this is great because on the carry junglers, such as Lee Sin, Zed, Xin Zhao, champions like that, you can still build the Wriggle's Lantern, but for the more tanky and AP junglers, such as Cho'Gath, you can build into the Spirit Stone and still get great benefits. On my first back, I like to pick up the Spirit Stone and the Berserker Greaves. You may wonder why I don't pick up the Mercury Treads and instead get the Berserker Greaves. The Berserker Greaves give you the attack speed that is going to help you proc your E, your Vorpal spikes, more often, and I've already discussed the importance of this in previous sections of the video. In the old Season 2 item shop, I always felt the need to pick up Mercury Treads for tenacity when playing a tank, because no one really purchased items such as Moonflare Spellblade. But with the new Season 3 Masteries and items, I can still pick up more tenacity than I could ever have in Season 2 through my Spirit of the Ancient Golem item and also in my Mastery page picking up the tenacity. After you pick up your Spirit Stone and your Berserker Greaves, you can really go two directions with your Cho'Gath build. You can go a more damage route if you want to deal more damage and help your team more in that aspect, or you can go a more full-on tank route if you need a more dedicated tank for your team. The damage route, as you will see in this video, includes picking up a Wit's End straight away. Wit's End is amazing on Cho'Gath because it gives him three essential things. It gives him attack speed, which procs his E once again. It also gives him bonus damage on his auto attack. When combined with his base attack damage and his damage on Vorpal spikes, you'll be doing ridiculous damage with your already pretty hefty attack speed. And it also gives you magic resist, which is never a bad thing on Cho'Gath, seeing as he is a tank. After that, you want to build Frozen Mallet. Frozen Mallet will give you plenty more health, making you even more tanky. It will give you that slow on your auto attacks, which will really help you chase down people even harder, and it will also give you a little bit of AD. And while that's not necessary, attack damage always helps when you're auto attacking people for obvious reasons. After that, you'll really want to revert back to more tanky items. After all, you are a tank for your team. At this point, I would get Spirit of the Golem, which will give you that health, armor, and tenacity I talked about earlier. It's all around a great item, and it will still help Cho'Gath auto attack creeps in the jungle and do more damage. And honestly, I would still consider picking up this item in the lane. The build is situational from this point, and the tank items that follow I will cover in a minute. But the other direction you can go with the Cho'Gath build is the full-on dedicated tank. After picking up Spirit Stone and Berserker Greaves, you'll go right for the Spirit of the Ancient Golem, which will give you that health, armor, and tenacity I already discussed. After that, I go for the Chalice of Harmony, which gives me magic resist, but more importantly, massive mana regen. This allows me to give the blue buff to the mid laner more quickly. This is important because this build is used when our team is more behind, and if I can give the blue buff to the mid laner, this can potentially put us further ahead. The next part of the build depends on whether the opposing team is primarily AD or AP, and you can use your best judgment. But the next two items I like to build on tank Cho'Gath would be Frozen Heart against an AD team. It gives you plenty of armor, mana, and also the debuff aura for the enemy champions, and also Banshee's Veil for a primarily AP enemy team. This gives you a lot of MR, health, mana, and that passive of the spell shield every 25 seconds is quite amazing. After finishing those items, I like going for Athene's Unholy Grail. This ensures you will never have mana problems for the rest of the game and also gives you plenty of MR. I like to round out the build, of course, with a Wit's End. Wit's End is just an amazing item for Cho'Gath, and it synergizes so well. I would highly consider picking this item up last, but there are some other options which I will now cover. The other options you can pick up to end Cho'Gath is you can always get a Guardian Angel. It gives you very, very high tank stats, and also, when people see the Guardian Angel on a massive Cho'Gath, they really don't want to attack it. This makes you a visual threat and a fantastic tank for your team. I already discussed Frozen Heart and Banshee's Veil, and I would also consider picking up an Abyssal Scepter. The debuff around the enemies that lowers their magic resist and giving you ability power is a very good idea. Of course, you can always build Cho'Gath the way that best complements your team and best counters the enemy team, so always keep that in mind, and never use a cookie cutter build for a champion every game, because that's a good way to lose. Here I go back into the jungle to get more farm. Farming is really important on the jungler. Here you can watch as my Vorpal spikes just eliminate the jungle camp, and it also heals me. You can see from my items and my runes and masteries that I have no lifesteal, and obviously when I auto attack I'm not gaining any health, but when something dies, when I kill it, you can see that I do regain health. Lee Sin comes in to try to counter gank, but there are 3 of us here and we know we can easily take him. He goes into the bush and he tries to do a little Q juke thing, but it's obviously not going to work. I land a Rupture there, knock him up. There's the slow, and Riven is doing exceptionally well this game, and he's just not getting out of that. Now a little team fight breaks out down here. I don't want to get too close because I'm low on health, but I know that I need to do something to help my team. Cassiopeia ults us, but it really doesn't do that much damage because she's not very farmed. I'm breaking the #1 rule of League of Legends right here by chasing a Singed, so I get in the bush to get out of his poison trail. He almost killed me there. Here I base for the first time, and I have enough gold to pick up Spirit Stone, Berserker Greaves, and Recurve Bow to build into my Wit's End. If you have enough money when you back, guys, you really should pick up wards for your team. And by that, I mean 1 or 2. You don't have to get 4 or anything. The support should be getting wards, but it's always nice if you can pick up a ward or 2 for your top and mid lanes. It also doesn't hurt to ward the enemy jungle as well. I believe at this point I go back into the jungle just to farm. Yeah, here I stop moving. I believe I'm typing to my team. Communication is pretty important. Now you'll notice my Vorpal spikes are off. I had them turned off from auto-attacking a tower because the Vorpal spikes go through the tower and hit enemy champions and cause the tower to attack you. But you'll see there at the end I turned them back on. Oftentimes junglers forget to continue farming the jungle throughout the game, and in the mid game they fail to understand why they're underleveled compared to the rest of their team. Even when gank opportunities seem endless, make sure you continue to dive back into your jungle and get some farm. This way you will continue to get gold and experience from a more reliable source than just a gank. Here I try to set up a gank on Singed. I know if I land a Rupture we can kill him. Unfortunately, I miss it. Ruptures can be difficult to land due to the delay from the time you cast it to the time it goes off, and some champions such as Singed are especially difficult due to their high movement speed. Katarina and Cassiopeia are duking it out here in the mid lane. I come in to offer a little suppression on Cassiopeia, but I know that Katarina's got it, so I just feast a minion. There was my 6th stack, so that's what a 6 stack Cho'Gath looks like right there. And right after I leave, Katarina picks up the kill on Cassiopeia. No surprise there. Good job, Scratch. I come back top because I want to gank Singed. Right here I don't go around the corner because I think if Singed sees me, he'll just run away. And I think that if I stay in the bush and he doesn't see me, he might engage and Riven can kill him. Riven does kill him, but the tower hits her a lot, does a lot of damage, and just as she makes it into the brush, Lee Sin was waiting there and got the kill on her. I pushed the minions to the tower to deny Singed that golden experience. That's an important thing as a jungler when you hold the lane for an ally. Make sure you push the minion wave to the enemy tower so the tower denies all that golden experience to the enemy champion. Here I'm continuing to jungle, continuing to get gold and experience. Our AD carry just picked up the dragon for us, that's always a good thing. As a jungler, not so much the tank AP junglers, but as like, you know, Lee Sin or Zed or Xin Zhao, those champions I mentioned earlier, when you hit the point where you can solo dragon, make sure you're just staying on top of that. There's no reason why you shouldn't be at dragon when it spawns and kill it. Of course, make sure it's safe. Don't solo it when you know it could be contested or they have wards, because that's a great way to give them a free kill and dragon. Here I checked the enemy's Wraith camp, but there's nothing there. So I know that Lee Sin was recently here, and as I pass red, this confirms my theory. But as I round the corner, I see that golems are still there, so I know that something must have caused him to stop his jungle path, and then I realized it was because he went bot. Our turret gets destroyed there, and there was really nothing he could do about that. He got ganked by 4 of them. Lee Sin kicked him back into their team, and that's just a recipe for disaster. So I'm waiting here because I want to make something happen, but I'm extremely indecisive and I can't decide what to do. I check the brush here with a Rupture, and then I see him there, and I back out for a second because I think, oh, maybe if I chase him, his whole team will be there. And then I remember his whole team's really low, so I try to go really sneaky through the bushes and try to find the enemy team. Once I realized they went mid again, I just realized that I'll just go and counter their jungle, so I take the Wraiths here. This just shows you how fast Cho'Gath can take the camps in the jungle. I come into the mid lane to get the CS from mid. I know that no one else is around, and if I don't take it, it's just going to be wasted golden experience. I see a team fight getting ready to break out in the top lane, so I make sure to head up there. Riven takes out Lee Sin right away, which is no surprise. I believe that was Singe that just flashed out, and then Ezreal did an arcane shift. Clearly they want to get away from us, and for good reason. You may consider that a kill steal, but I think I saved Katarina's life. Had I not killed Karma right there, Katarina would have had to continue to spin for another second or so, and the tower was aggroed on her, so she probably would have died because the tower would still be focusing her. It was for the team, guys, I promise. You might not think it, but red buff is very good on Cho'Gath. Jungle Cho'Gath, that is. As you come in with your abilities and you land a Rupture and a Feral Scream, all you have left at that point is your auto attacks. Don't be misled when I say all you have left, because your auto attacks hit like a train. But red buff is very good because you slow them, and if you had already purchased the frozen Mallet, they're just not getting away. They're slowed a ridiculous amount. It's awesome, guys. You gotta try this out. We realize that we need to push mid because they're probably going to surrender at the 20. This has been an all-out stomp, and it's been a lot of fun. But I let them push mid, and I go back into the jungle to keep farming. I probably should have stayed with them in mid, and I don't know why at the time I thought it was good to go get wolves, but I did, and it turned out okay, so... Now things are really starting to heat up in the mid lane, so I make sure I walk back there so I'm part of the action. Riven is going to push out top lane for us. When you're ahead like this, you can easily send one person in another lane to split push, and this is exactly what we've done. That time I feast Lee Sin, not for the kill, but to get an assist and do the large amount of damage to him. I scream at Singe there, and I really hope to get the kill, but my scream is only at level 1, so it does hardly any damage. Luckily, Singe just picked up anyway. Here we move in to attack the tower, and I turn off my Vorpal spikes. If they were on, like I mentioned earlier, they would go through the tower and possibly hit enemy champions behind it, causing the tower to focus me. I don't know why Ezreal thought he could 1v3 our team when he's 1-6 and our AD carries 6-2. but I guess he was just trying to be a hero. I want to go take their blue buff here, but as you can see, they surrendered. It looks like that's GG, guys. I realized this was a 20-minute stomp, but I felt like it was a good game to show how to jungle Cho'Gath. I can assure you that every game will not be surrender at 20. I'll try to upload all ranges of lengths, wins, losses, everything. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment below requesting future guides and also any suggestions you may have. This has been Trilantis, the jungler for TheBootsTree, and I'll catch you in the next video.